So all attraction is stratification on every level. And this is the inversion of modern reality that wants to say it's, hey, we're equal, everything, blah, 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 right? This is an equal partnership, this is an equal exchange, all this shit. Like, at the end of the day, superiority and inferiority in some sense, dominance in some sense, some kind of stratification is necessary. And, it occurs on every level. And you accept it to have the circuit, to have the synergy at the end of the day. It doesn't mean the subordinate is not an essential component. At the end of the day, it's a priority, and it's a question of dominance. So just start basically at the highest level, right? Depending on what you're working with, right? So the creator is superior to the creation, right? In some way, right? That intelligence gave birth, thrusted, exploded into existence, reality, right? Like the Photoshop program, so to speak, the platform by which the creations are created is superior to the actual creation. Of course, Photoshop without the art is basically a computer program. It's kind of nothing. It's kind of worthless, right? But like through that medium, a superior technology, so to speak, allows beauty to be created, right? Okay, let's go on. Probably more accessible is rational to emotional, right? Rationality needs to come first in order to inform, like, the emotionality is augmentive to rationality, right? Like, so say there's a house break-in, for example. What are you going to revert to if you're under attack, right? That's immediate stress, immediate pressure. The dominant systems emerge in pressure, right? If you just get frozen and you do shit, you're gonna die, right, from the house invaders. But if you subvert your emotions, okay, the emotions you use to heighten, the emotions you need to sense where the problems are at or whatever, or get a feel of the intentions of the attacker, you can use emotions in those situations. But what allows you to do that is a rational structure, right? A rational structure. Okay, there's a break-in, I need to go get defense weapons, whatever. Okay, so emotional or rationality being primary as your prominent modality is a better way to lead. But how does emotionality play into that, right? Like and at the end of the day, you can use emotionality to sense and then use your rationality to execute, right? Or use your emotionality to sense an issue and then iterate. Use your rationality to iterate. It's like your own masculine, your own feminine. So, and this even occurs, like, look at attraction between men and women, and even on the physical level, right? The physical level, women don't want to be with men shorter than them, weaker than them, etc. They don't feel safe. That's a genetic predisposition. But it mirrors every other level, right? It's just a body representation of what everything else is on every other level. So, without the stratification, there's no attraction. It's not only sexual. Like, when the natural creation feels the immensity of God, like, that's a magnetic pull. That's a natural magnetic pull. Right? When the emotional aspect of yourself, whether that be the feminine, your own emotionality, feels the stability of the rationality, there's an attraction there, right? Like, feels that it's a dominant modality in the situation. But it's also the same for men and women. And so the issue with the modern structural society is not only the the letting women earn more and are masculized and told men ain't shit and go for long periods of life without men. It's like at the end of the day, the more you equalize it, the more that attraction shuts down, and the less they're able to bond and grow, which is at the end of the day, the psyop, really break up the sexes at the end of the day, so they cannot converge, they cannot combine incomes, they cannot provide purposes and counterbalance each other. So being aware of that, it doesn't necessarily, like, you don't have to rely on external structurals for, like, income or whatever status to establish that stratification in order to form that circuit, right? As long as there's that emotional awareness, like, you'll notice that in equality relationships, in, like, liberal relationships, etc., where, we're gonna have to compromise on everything, the woman gets really bitchy because she doesn't feel that stratification. She doesn't feel guided, led, dominated, etc. And so what'll happen is, she'll try to take over. When it's equal like this, that's when the kind of nagging and nitpicking kicks in. And it's a mix, like seeing if she can push you down more, increasing that distraction, right? It's a minor pulling of the apple, right, in biblical terms. Or it allows your masculine to surge and dominate and contain. So, or again, it becomes, okay, she doesn't feel attracted because you are simping, or she feels like she's up here or down here at the end of the day. Like, there's only attraction when looking up, right? And it's not only just like a physical representation, like when for taller men, for your masculine superiority, in a sense. It's not that they don't want to be seen. Like, the animal, the nature does not want to be seen and appreciated, right? That's not the default state, but it does want to feel contained by space, right? Contained by benevolent dictatorship, so to speak. The emotionality wants to feel contained by rational structure. The feminine wants to be contained by a stronger masculine body. It's all the same level, right? It's just a mirror of attraction at every level, right? The Tao says, see the great in the small, right? This happens on every level and every dimension. And once you start to change that, and the change is internal, right? It's not necessarily external. It helps align with internal. Like, if you're financially dominant, that helps maintain attraction, right? But it's not a necessary condition. Like, ultimately, the emotional state has to be there to maintain that. So, that's the foundation. Again, it doesn't mean, like, going back to the Photoshop analogy, like, Photoshop's purpose is to have the creation, right? And at the end of the day, that creation is valued, right? So the masculine provides the foundation and the feminine fulfills it, but it defers to Photoshop, right, to have the creation. So she magnifies his creation through a child, and he protects her through that process, right? Emotional intelligence, at the end of the day, our well-being is more, we're looking for happiness, right? But that is found through structural integrity, right? That's a stable structure, right? The house, the home. Natural creation is beautiful, but that comes from space. The space allows it to exist. right? Without the space, it would not exist. And without the existence, there would just be empty space. Fascinating chemistry, something to be aware of.